by treating the trauma, working with the trauma. We have to, if we want to overcome addictions 100%, we have to work with the trauma. So we have to work with, well, let's start this way. What we seek in the addiction is what we couldn't achieve in childhood. So I will always say to the client, well, what does it do for you? And they might say, it makes me happy. I escape. I feel connected. I feel love, right? And so it's those things that we didn't get in the childhood experience: connection, love, escape, peace. So it's like, okay, so now we can work with that. So we just start to work with the inner child, or we start to work in the somatic, experience. And it's like, well, when you think of this addiction, what's happening in the body? It's like, I might feel tight in the chest. I feel sick in the stomach. Okay, well, how far back does that go? What do you make it mean about you? And the other thing I would say about addictions, and this is something that's not focused on a lot in the trauma space, but shame. Overwhelming shame with addiction as well. And shame always comes from not being seen and heard enough. And so when we're not seen and heard enough, we feel overwhelming shame. And so the only way that we can get rid of shame is to use, right? Use food, use drugs. But then what happens is, after we come out of that experience, overwhelming shame even more, right? So then we go back to our self-soothing mechanisms. At the end of the day, addictions are all about self-soothing, self-regulation. And I always will say to clients as well, if you didn't have that crutch, if you didn't have that addiction, would you still be here? Probably not, right? Most people say absolutely not, particularly when it's physical addictions like heroin, alcohol. It's like, no, if I didn't have that, I wouldn't be here. So it's like, okay, well, great. Well, you found a way to survive. So let's now start working with the trauma that's driving this addiction. And it's always, always rooted in shame as well.